Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back for another master debating session with the lads, Jay and Joe. Jay from Scotty and Motty, the podcast. Make sure you subscribe, and the link is in the description below. And Joe, of course, from Stretford Paddock. Make sure you're subscribing to them as well. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good, mate. So, sun's shining. It's a happy day. My kids are out drawing all over the pavements with chalk.
Oh, I remember doing that. That was fun, that.
When I say pavement, that's the garden, our garden path, actually. They're not out graffitiing.
No, I used to do it just all over the street.
We never did that. Never allowed chalk. Don't know.
You weren't allowed chalk.
Sounds like
it wasn't like here's the list on the fridge of what you want allowed. It's like knives, guns, chalk. You weren't like that, but it was sort of like, I don't think I would have been trusted to sort of write what I wanted on the floor or the walls or whatever. People do like a little hopscotch, don't they?
So much bad stuff,
mate.
As a kid, that I think now, like if I had a child and I saw them doing it, I'd think, what the hell are you doing? Like, you idiot.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
My mum loves it. Whenever she sees me telling my lad off, she's like, he's so you.
But watered down is definitely watered down, like, because kids these days, they have everything, don't they? We just had our imaginations and we got put outside more and left with your imagination to go wander. And
not having the internet growing up is great, actually, isn't it, when you think back?
It is. I was glad that I didn't. I did. I had it, like, we had MSN in year 7. We were kind of like the first year to have it in school. And we had that. And I remember, like,
we had Microsoft Paint when I was in year 7.
Oh, shit.
Well, I mean, obviously, you're older than me. How old are you, Adam?
I'm 31 last week.
Right, so you're like 5 years older than me, but we didn't have MSN till we were in like year 7 as well. So like all of primary school was just going out trying to set everything on fire. That was just set as much as you can on fire was basically my childhood. Any of you two fire kids or no?
Yeah, I was gonna. I burnt. My mates burnt. I used to like. So you know plastic chairs.
Yeah. Oh, do I?
I used to break the leg off and burn it. Now, kids at home, if you're watching, don't do this. And if you hold a burning plastic chair leg in the air, the plastic drips off.
Yeah.
But as it hits the floor, it goes. It makes some kind of movie sound. Seriously, And I used to attack ants' nests with that. But anyway, don't phone the RSPCA. I think, the time's up for me getting done for that stuff. And I was a young kid. And I didn't really burn anything else. Moving on to master debaters. This is potentially legally.
Open up a can of worms there. Oh,
the kids probably a can of worms that are covered in melted plastic, no doubt.
This is all going to be redacted, so it's going to be all right. Anyway, moving on to today's debate, which is obviously the Odion Ighalo debate. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? The current latest is we're still in discussions with Shanghai Shenhua about getting an extension to his loan. They've got a league campaign starting soon. But there's also talk in China that people that are outside can't travel into the country until October. So he may not be able to go over there and work until October. So that being said, United may be able to get an agreement in place for him to finish the current campaign with us. But having said all of that, we're going to have a debate on whether we need him. Do we need him to stay? We signed him in January because Marcus Rashford weren't here. When we signed him, we all said it's a short-term thing. But now it seems we've all fell in love with him, including myself. So should Ighalo stay or go? That's the debate. Now, I don't know where you guys fall on the debate, but we're going to find out in this. And it might just turn into an Ighalo loving. It might not, but who wants to go first?
I think I went first last time, so
yeah,
Mr. Smith, off you go.
I'll go first.
The floor is yours, Senator.
I think he's got to stay. I think he's proven since he's been here. Everyone's fallen in love with him for all the sort of off the pitch stuff. Pictures of him as a kid with the shirt on, talking about shaking and being excited, and his agent crying and all this stuff when they were coming to United because he's such a big United fan. And whilst all that's nice, for me, this sort of like like mascotification of him to the point where he's almost this kind of like, oh, isn't he cute that he likes United so much? All of that to me, I'm not bothered about all that. I don't care that he's. I mean, obviously it's good that he's a fan of United. It's good that all that sort of stuff. But what he's proven since he's joined is that United are in desperate need of options up front. And Martial's been good and he's improved certainly this season. But Ighalo's the only, like, the best hold-up player we've had as a striker since Ibrahimovic. He's got a different set of skills to Martial. He gives Martial a break as well. Let's not forget, playing 20 minutes at the end of games, it seems like anyone can do that job. But no one was doing that job before he came in because we didn't have enough people. So I think he's scoring goals. He's got a goal every other game for United. He offers something different to everyone else. He offers support. And especially when we're going to be playing potentially 18 games in about 2 months, Martial's going to need a rest. Rashford's going to need a rest. These players are going to need some time off the pitch. And he offers a perfect replacement to any of those players and does it better than pretty much anyone else we've got in the squad. So I think, we've got to try and keep him certainly till the end of the season.
Give it Ighalo to the end of the season. Jay, do you agree, disagree?
I think there's sort of, listen, we all love Ighalo, and I have to add this caveat every time we have these debates because I don't want to sound like I'm bashing someone just because I'm not necessarily agreeing with the points that you guys are making. And I've loved Odion Ighalo, and I've admitted that I got it wrong on deadline day when he came in, and I did something on the radio, and I was like, I'm a bit sceptical of this. His record at Watford towards the end wasn't great, and this is all so last minute. It smacks of desperation, especially when we were linked with Josh King, I think, earlier on that day, and then we ended up sort of doing an 11th hour signing for someone who was a little bit, not an unknown entity, but we didn't know what we were going to get in terms of where he was at and his levels and the rest of it. Now he's come in, and as Joe said, he's been an absolute breath of fresh air. He's embraced everything about United. He's given the fans a massive lift. It's been a real sort of romantic story these last 8 games where he's played. He scored 4 goals in those 8 games, which is a good return. Some of us were worried he might not get any goals, and he's had a positive impact on and off the pitch as well. And I don't. This isn't Make-A-Wish Foundation. We don't just dish out, United appearances to people that love the club. Otherwise, we'd all be playing for him. You have to be a certain standard, and he is that standard, or he's that standard that we needed. But I think people are getting a little bit rose-tinted glasses, and I've been guilty of it myself with Odion Ighalo. He is the wrong side of 30. He's had this great little spell. He's come in. He's had these 8 games. He scored some goals in the. He's been a very effective cup player, especially. And I think that now might be the right time for him to move on because, yes, if we do finish this season, we've got a lot of games to go through, but we've also got Marcus Rashford coming back. And as Macca mentioned, that was probably the initial reason we got him in was because Rashford was injured. From what the reports I'm hearing is that it looks like Marcus could be fit again. Mason Greenwood needs games. He's missed out a big chunk of when he would have been playing. I think Mason Greenwood over these last few months would have been playing a prominent part, even with Ighalo in the squad, and he's missed out. He needs to get up to speed. And Martial was on fire before the lockdown, so I don't think we're sort of short of options. And longer term past this season, I don't know if Ighalo is the answer anyway. The talk was being in for Sancho, maybe looking at others. And I think we need to think a little bit further ahead than just the 31-year-old, whatever he is, for the sort of the short term. We need to think of what we're going to do longer term. And the thing with Ighalo is now it has been a great story. It's like an Aldi version of Henrik Larsson coming in. When Henrik Larsson came in and helps us win the league. I don't mean that. I know that sounds a little bit disrespectful, but he came in. He played 8 games. We won. Helped us win the league. He moved on. It was fantastic. And it's a bit like that. He's come in. He scored some goals. He's given us all a lift. If he moves on, he'll be like a cult hero. He will. And I think if he stays, I don't know if he's got the legs in him. I don't know if we're being brutally honest, if he's even cut out for the Prem week in, week out. Most of his most effective games were in the Europa League and the cups. So I don't know. It's a bit of an ask. We saw him in the Premier League come on, and he did okay. He missed a couple of easy chances, I felt, but he did okay. And he certainly, he had a sort of offered us something different, as you've mentioned. And yes, you're right. He does have that little bit of toughness to him, that hold up stuff that we've not really seen since Ibra, the sort of stuff that Lukaku couldn't do, for example. But now is almost the right time, I feel, for him to move on. I think if he moves on now, it'll be like a happy story. He did a job. He was a stopgap. He moves on. We've got players coming back. Marcus is coming back. Mason can kick on, and then we go in the summer for a long-term player who can fit into the forward line. So I think now is almost like the right time for him to move on. Don't get me wrong. If he stays, scores loads of goals, you can clip this up and fucking ram it down my throat, and I'll be happy with that. But I just have this feeling that now might be the right time for him to move on and for United to move on as well.
Joe, response to that?
I just think that I'm not saying we should sign him on a 3-year deal, take him up till he's 34 and all that stuff after this. I think going forward next season, we should be looking for younger players, 25, 26, 27, whoever you want to get to be a sort of a backup or a second striker behind Martial. I think we should be doing that. But I think for now, we're not certain on Rashford's physicality. Obviously, we know he's back training and stuff. But the way Ole phrased his quote yesterday about how Pogba and Rashford have so far done everything everyone else has, and touch wood, they've not had a reaction. Like, that doesn't scream to me that these are two players that are at peak fitness. It suggests to me that he's maybe expecting some sort of feedback or some sort of reaction to come from this training that they're doing. So I wouldn't say that, I expect them both to be available for selection, but I don't think that Rashford and Pogba are going to be ready to play 18 games in 2 months, according to those quotes anyway. I just think, like I said, I of course I enjoy the sort of romantic side that you alluded to there, Jay, and the fact that he's a United fan and stuff like I mentioned. But I think just take that away for a second. If he wasn't a United fan, even let's say he was a Leeds fan, you still couldn't knock him because he has been good. And I think that, the goals that he scored have been good. You're talking about it not quite as effective in the league. I thought he looked good against City when he came on, offered something different, and really helped us close out that game. I know McTominay got the late goal to sort of put that one to bed, but even without that McTominay goal, Ighalo, the ball's coming up to him. The ball just sticks to his chest. The ball sticks to his feet. He can back into defenders. He can help us win games and shut out games that are going to be vital toward the end of the season when, as we've seen from the Bundesliga, there's already been a few shock results there, Leipzig dropping points and Bayern looking slow and stuff like that. So I think that we're going to see a lot of that in the Premier League. Teams looking tired, looking slow, more substitutes being used. And I think, if they are doing a 5 substitute system like they're doing in Bundesliga, the likes of Ighalo would be key to that, or another striker would be key to that. And we don't have any other strikers.
What's this? 18 games? What's the maths there?
So it's 9 Premier League games left. Yeah. Another potential quarter-final, semi-final, final in the FA Cup. 9. So that's 3 more. So that's 12. And then there's the second leg of this round of 32. Second leg of the round of 32. Then 2 quarterfinals, 2 semi-finals, and a final. So that's another 6.
Are they doing that? Sorry, it's a bit obtuse. I mean, all the cups and the Europa and everything going ahead.
I mean, so far nothing's been cancelled, has it?
I mean,
so
I thought that was highly.
It does look like we're going to have the Premier League June to July. August is going to be Europe.
Yeah.
There's been talk today September, the middle of September, the next campaign could start again. So there's not really going to be a pre-season.
Will be dropped, but we're still going to have a couple, probably 2 games a week for the next month at least.
Do you think Joe, Ighalo could be signed or should be signed on a permanent, or do you just think it is just for
the only way I would want that is if it's for 1 year. And it's because we've tried to get other players in and we couldn't. I don't think he should be our first choice. I wouldn't want a long-term signing. In the way that obviously we wanted Sancho last summer, I don't know whether we got Dan James in to kind of protect us and to sort of bolster that position in the meantime. And obviously he's a young lad, so he'll stick around. It's not like a short-term signing. But I wonder if we would have signed Dan James last year if we'd have got Sancho, which is what we wanted. I think if there's a striker in mind, if it's Haaland, if it's whoever it is, let's say it's Haaland, for argument's sake, if we think, well, we can't get him this summer, but he's probably available next summer, let's get Ighalo for 1 more put him on a 2-year contract because he can be a backup then as well. I wouldn't necessarily be against that. I don't think he should be like, oh, he's been good, so he's now our main striker for the next 3 years, or he's now the first backup to Martial long term. I wouldn't say that, but if he could be a stopgap for a bit longer, I wouldn't necessarily be against that. No.
I don't have an issue with him. Like towards the end of the season, I get it. Especially if those cup games do go ahead, I get it. It's not the end of the world. Oh, not the end of the world. It's not a bad thing to keep as many players as options, especially when you talk about this nonsense of 5 subs or whatever. But I just feel if you're looking a little bit more long term, even 1 more year, I think is a bit of a stretch because, yes, he's been great and he's had this impact. You mentioned the Derby game, and I get where you're coming from. I thought he did have a positive influence on them. I know said he. In some Premier League games, he has looked a little bit off the pace, and you can say, okay, he's coming back into the Premier League. It takes time. But I just think, I don't know, I think we might be kidding ourselves a little bit. If you have a player, if you have a striker for me at United, you have to be able to rely on them on any game, not just, we can all use them in the cup. And I don't know if you could really, especially going in past this season, rely on Odion Ighalo to start in Premier League games. I think it'd be a bit of an ask. And I just think that's why we need to sort of maybe, I know this isn't going to be a very popular sort of statement, but maybe aim a little higher than that. because this is still Manchester United, and this is still a player that, yes, he's had a great little impact and he's done well, but it's still a player that 3 or 4 years ago got 1 in 18 at Watford.
Yeah.
So is he a Premier League standard striker for Manchester United? Probably not. It's just it's a whole lovely package. But the short and long of it is, we signed him at 10:30 on deadline day for a reason. He wasn't even our 5th choice or whatever. It was like, Ole knew his agent. There's a history there. We needed a stopgap, and we could get him. And he was knocking on his director's door saying, "Get me to Manchester United," which again adds to the reason we love him. But this wasn't some sort of strategy. It was all lastminute.com. So given the fact that we've now had 2.5 months to be targeting players and to be setting up some sort of replacement for the players that we need, we should have better options. And that might not be what people want to hear, but it's true. We should be aiming a little bit higher. No disrespect,
I agree with that.
I love him, but I love him. And as I said, if he left now, I think he'll be a cult hero. But I don't think he should be anything more at best.
There's a danger that we've
at best to the end of the season. That is it for me.
There's a danger that we've kind of got the false impression of him as well. And I say that in a kind way, like, because of the fact he came in, all that momentum, all that energy, all that like positivity and stuff, he kind of waved in on that that emotion. And who knows if it's going to be the same after all that settles down, kind of thing, and the novelty of playing for Manchester United is worn away, or it gets a little bit more difficult, or we start struggling in terms of results, because everything was positive, wasn't it? Like, anyone could have played for Manchester United when we beat PSG and everything like that, and but then was he a major part of that positivity?
Yeah, I don't think you can just say, well, he was played in a good team, so we don't know if he's good, because what you should really do is attribute part of those good results to each person that played a part in those good results. Do you know what I mean? Rather than saying he was just a tag along to what was a successful period anyway. He was, he scored 2 goals in the cup. He came on against City and helped us win that game. Even against Chelsea, I know he missed the chance and he probably should have scored it, but he had a great chance against Chelsea. Like, he gets in positions to score goals. All strikers miss chances. Obviously, top strikers miss less chances. I'm not saying he's a top striker, but the fact that he's getting chances in most every game he plays in, for me, is a massive bonus. And obviously, some of the novelty is going to wear off. We're not going to go 11 undefeated back to back for the rest of his time at United. But I think you have to give him some of the credit for those good results, not take it away from him like he was just a tag along in and you could have played me up front and I would have done the same as he did. I know it took him 4 touches to control the ball, but he did put it in the top corner against LASK. So I think he's part of the reason that we did so well, rather than maybe he's only doing good because we're playing well.
I tend to come down on that side of things. Like, he should stay until the end, but probably not get caught into the trap of just the emotional side of things and keeping him for the long term. Especially if there's alternatives out there. Ali, I'm going to need the cash. Moussa Dembele is someone that's been linked to us a lot. There's been other strikers that have been linked with us a fair bit. But then you think, are they enough of a plan B? Whereas kind of Ighalo's kind of the perfect plan B option, isn't he?
Can I ask you a question, Jay? Do you know, before you were talking about you bring him on and it's just a body, or he's not, you don't trust him to necessarily play in any Premier League game. A player should be able to play in any game. If you take him out of the squad, what is the option there then? Would you just, you have to either play Martial for every 90 minutes, or it's not like there are other options already in the squad?
I said I think Mason is ready for more games, and I think he's missed out on games that he would have played. I think Mason's a phenomenal player, and I think next season, or his next full season, I'm trying to temper it because I've been here before with, Danny Welbeck and McKola.
Yanazai as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to temper myself, but, and I probably say this every 5 years about a certain player, but this kid is special, and he does look the real deal, and we've seen it. We've seen the way he finishes, left foot, right foot, his strength, his pace. He's got
12
the whole
goals already this season.
He's got the whole package. 13-30 for the academy or whatever it was. There's a reason that everyone is raving about him, and he is a genuine sort of phenomenal talent, a once in a million player. So I don't mind him setting more games. I mean, listen, as I said earlier when we started this, if Ighalo signs to send the season, I'm not going to be complaining. I'm not going to be going, fuck, what we're doing, giving him a deal to end the season. I just think that if he left, I wouldn't be as gutted as a lot of people would be. And also, past this season, which has already been muted, of like, give him a 1-year deal, whatever, I think would be a massive mistake, because it's so much uncertainty in an already uncertain time anyway. I think we need to go for something a little bit more safer, a little bit more positive, and a little bit more long term as well. Because regardless of what you think of Odion Ighalo, he's not going to be anything more than a stopgap because of his age. He's not, he's 31 or whatever he is. So he can't come from 3 years of Chinese football into the Premier League at the age of 31 and then play 2 or 3 seasons at Manchester United. It just doesn't happen. That's just completely unrealistic.
What about the situation I sort of propose where United have, let's say it is Haaland because we've been linked with him even after he's gone to Dortmund. Let's say they're willing to sell him next year. And we've got a year basically where it's either Dembele, who's, what is he, 24? I know he's not an old fellow, but 24, 25. And he gets what, 16, 17 goals in a relatively poor league in France. There aren't really any options that are really blowing me away in terms of potential strikers. If it was, let's just, again, it's a very specific scenario I'm putting you in here. But if it was, we can sign Haaland next summer for 70 million or whatever his buyout clause, would you maybe consider taking Ighalo just for a year just to fill that gap in, or would you say no to that still?
I keep saying he's 31. He's 31, I think, in 2 weeks or whatever it is. I think he turns 31.
Now he's younger than me and we're saying he's finished.
Let's not get started. He's almost young enough to be my son. I'm not going to go down that route. I just think that next season for me is one that's got so much potential for Manchester United. And I think, really, there's lots of ifs and buts what you said. If we can get Haaland in a year is such a long time in football that I think that if we went out and bought a striker in the meantime that could be long-term as well as short-term, if we went and spent 40 or 50 million on a striker, then I wouldn't have a problem with that because we should have 4 or 5 strikers anyway, long-term. 4 or 5 strikers long-term who can do a job. So I wouldn't have a problem with that because I don't think that you can go out and say, well, we're going to get a striker in a year, so let's just get one who might not be up to the job, but let's keep him anyway because in a year's time we're going to be all right. Because that year, Ole could be out of a job. So we shouldn't be thinking like that, and we now...
And Mino could sell him somewhere else anyway.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, exactly. That's the whole sort of bag of can of worms you don't even want to get into, that nutter. So I think we should be aiming for that, if we've got to wait a year, then you get in the best striker you can get anyway. And then when Haaland does come in, then he's got to fight with Mason, the other striker you brought in, with Anthony Martial and with Marcus Rashford for one of those front 3 spots. So I don't necessarily think the two are mutually exclusive where it's we're going to get a striker in here, so we can't buy another top striker. Why not? We didn't, when we were sort of at our peak, we didn't say, we're not going to sign Dwight York because we've got Teddy Sheringham. And he's got another year in him. Or we're not going to sign it because we've got Ollie and we've got Andy Cole. Do you know what I mean? And it's we need to, if we're going to get to levels we need to start thinking like that. Pains me to say it, but you look at the Scousers. They've got that front 3, and they've got Origi who does a job for them as well. And they're still looking at other strikers. They're still being linked with others. I think Timo Werner's on their radar.
The thing, one of the differences with us in Liverpool,
got to raise our levels.
That front 3 of theirs never gets injured. Whereas we know that Rashford has had severe injuries this season. Obviously, it's only mainly that one injury, but who knows how he'll come back from that. We heard Van Persie talking about coming back from a similar injury, and he never truly felt like he was over it. We've had Martial, who is, as much as I like him, has been consistently misses 15 games a season through injury, it seems. And then other than that, you've got Dan James, who, again, is a young lad. But Mason, I don't think he's necessarily suited to coming on and closing out a game as a striker. I just think we're going to have players in those forward positions who are missing through injury in ways that Liverpool so far miraculously haven't really had. I just think that we need more players, in there now to get us through.
All right.
Obviously, I would like a big player.
Well, we're going round in circles here, and it's clear what I thought was going to be a Ighalo loving has turned into a proper debate. So we're going to bring back the 32nd rounds today. Jay does hate him, clearly. He's got a problem
you
with
ain't so Larry Redknapp gets his hands on him.
Oh my God, have you? Oh my God, I've seen that news. Your tweet about that was great, by the way.
This is the guy that wrote an article saying Wes Morgan should play for England.
After he had 60 caps for Jamaica. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Right, 32nd round. Joel's going first, it seems, because you went first today. You seem very passionate about keeping Odion Ighalo, and maybe even for another year. So 30 seconds, Joe. Starts now.
We've got to do what we can to keep Odion Ighalo. He's come in, he's changed the dressing room, he's been part of the reason why the mood has changed around Old Trafford in the last few months. And not only that, and sort of even more than that, he's looked good on the pitch. 4 goals in 8 games, including a couple of excellent goals in a couple of excellent ties. He gives us options that we don't have. He can hold the ball up. He's great to come in and close out games in ways that we don't have with other players. He gives Martial a rest, and he just allows the whole team to improve. Done.
Oh, you already finished. You didn't need the full thing.
Well,
Good job.
You interrupted me. I thought I was done. I thought my time was done.
No, because I accidentally pressed stop and then start on the stop.
Well, I thought you were saying shush to me because I'd had my 30 seconds.
To be fair, I did as well.
I could have kept going.
I thought you
could have gone
him,
for a year.
Go on, do a quick 3-second. Go on.
He's had his time now. He wasted
3 seconds.
3 seconds.
1, 2.
Wait, you counting me in to start? He's ace. Just going to keep playing him. He keeps getting goals. He's really good.
All right, stop.
Him. Good.
Like a well-oiled machine, this debate.
It's great.
It is, yeah. You'd think it wasn't just a knobhead running it on his own. Right, Jay, you've got your 30 seconds. Why you absolutely hate Ighalo.
And he does hate him.
Let us know, starting right now.
Listen, I love Odion Ighalo, as everyone does. He's been a right success story. He's come in, he's scored goals, and he's been a positive influence on those around him. But I think that it's been a happy story that may need to come to an end. He is about to turn 31, and we do have these rose-tinted glasses. But the fact is, he's not really a long-term option for us. I think we need to be aiming a little bit higher than someone who's spent the last sort of 2 or 3 years in the Chinese league, and just before that scored 1 in 18 at Watford. It's been a great story, and I think now maybe is the right time for it to come to an end. He'll be a cult hero. He'll be well revered, but United need to move on.
That's why Jay hates Ighalo.
Mm-hmm. Hey, with a passion. Do you know what I mean? I can't stand him. He's such a miserable git. Do you know what I mean? You're United, mate. Cheer up.
Yeah, smile.
Do you know what I mean? Get involved. It's like someone's put a gun to his head and said, "Get on the pitch and play for United." Disgrace.
I'm actually torn on this one because when we signed him, I said I don't want to fall in love with this guy and just want him to stay when it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like
before.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense. Like us signing him on a permanent basis or a long-term basis. But I don't mind actually keeping him. It depends because who are the other options? Do you know what I mean?
That's my point.
For a year, Musa Dembele. We're not getting Erling Haaland. We're not getting Timo Werner. We're not getting none of these guys that are linked to us, unless someone's out there like Harry Kane. Like he's not coming to United. It's not see. So I think Odion Ighalo, and we're talking about 30. He's 30. He's younger than me, and I'm young still. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, you're young. If you were stood outside like a sixth form, people would be like, "Oh, what's your next lesson, mate?" Wouldn't they? To you?
Fuck off. What sixth form are you going to? They'd be going, what lesson are you teaching? Hello, excuse me, sir.
Are you that? No, it'd be, are you that Andy Tate guy? That cunt. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, so I don't know why I would be standing outside a sixth form, Joel.
Well, I was just doing it to give you a sort of a known age bracket that you were impersonating, 16 to 18. I'm saying you could get away with that. I've
never impersonated a 16 to 18-year-old, contrary to recent reports from Joel Smith of Stretford Paddock.
Okay.
I do side with Joel, but I'm going to put it up to a vote.
I get it. I get it, and I am going to get pelters for this because everyone loves Ighalo, and rightly so. And I get that, but
well, 86% of the people that voted on the community section said they want him to stay. Yeah. But who do you think won this debate? Was it Jay or was it Joe? Because they might not agree with your opinion, but they might have had a better debate. So let us know in the comments below who you think won. Subscribe to Scotty and Marty. Subscribe to Stretford Paddock. Subscribe to Full Time Devil. Subscribe to AdamMcKola TV. Do all of that jazz. Keep it locked. Any final words, boys?
Yeah, I just love your t-shirt. Let's see that t-shirt. You on point here with these gams. Pablo. Man like Pablo.
That's lovely. What's that say? The one and only, something?
There can be only
there could be only one king. Wow. Aggressive. It's nice.
Can I just say, if he does go, Ighalo, like if this is the end of
apologising now? Is this a bit where you apologise?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've said it a million times, and I say it again. The guy, if he does go, he'll be a cult hero. He'll still get his name sung. It'll be like a fallen type character who we revere perhaps a bit more than we should. But there's nothing wrong with that because it's been a breath of fresh air. So I'll be sat in the Nigerian top, wishing him well.
Crying, I'll be.
Right.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Subscribe, like, comment, share. In a bit.